Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Jo number CFK7015 in a 630 finish. This is a pull plate from Jo. It is a fairly common type of plate. Certainly the plate and the pull itself is fairly common. This is a CFK, and we're going to explain what that means as we get this pulled out of the box. And just to give the secret away at the right away at the beginning, this is going to be a pull handle that's going to have a hole for a cylinder above. So it's going to be very appropriate for use on restroom doors. The client that continues to purchase these, they've bought dozens of them. I have seen, we've all, whether we realize it or not, we've all walked into a restroom that had a deadbolt on it. And generally what you're going to find is the CFK7015 used with the CFK70. The pull plate and the push plate, they're both going to have these holes prepped in them. That's a typical 2 1/8 inch hole. That's kind of what's called a, I was about to say, this is a preparation that is going to permit you to install lever locks or knob locks through this hole. I would think that they could certainly live without the semicircles at 12 and 6 and 3 and 9, because that's going to be for your key and knob type locks. So they've got those two prongs that will press fit into the face of a wood door, and if it's a hollow metal door, that will always be prepped as well. And it's really an anti-rotation device, is what those really are for. I can't imagine we're putting a lever lock or a knob lock into this. I suppose maybe if you were installing it upside down, but you're going to see a deadbolt. These semicircle preps will not be a problem for a deadbolt preparation, and where you're going to see this most certainly is going to be installed in a room that will have standard access during normal hours, and then you want to be able to lock it to keep people out. That translates to a school, a grocery store, anywhere where you've got access to a room, like a bathroom, in and out all day long until the business closes and you lock it up. That's always installed with what would be called a classroom style deadbolt, whereas the inside thumb turn will not project the bolt. It will only unlatch the bolt. So if someone were to lock it from the outside, you can always retract that latch bolt and then exit, but you can never lock it from the inside. And that's where this client's using these. So the CFK, we're going to pull up the document called Product Catalog, and there are links down below this video. CFK is specifically, CFK translates directly to 2 1/8 inch hole. Okay. A CFC is 1.25 inch cylinder hole. CFD is 1.5 inch hole. A CFK is the 2 1/8, and the CFL is a 2 1/8 but a lever prep. That's going to give you holes for different grade 1, grade 2 lever lock applications that you would need. So this client's clearly using a lock that's going to take a 2 1/8 inch hole, probably again a deadbolt. The 7015, that part of the part number translates to 3.5 by 15. Okay, the 630 in the part number, that means a couple of things. That means it's made of stainless steel, and that it has a satin brushed finish over the stainless. This blue film that you see is indeed just a peel-away protective film covering the satin brushed finish. Okay, so it's made of pure stainless steel is what it is. The 7015 is also going to automatically include this, it's a pull handle, so it's going to include this pull as well. This is Their number 15 pull is what's included. 70 is the plate, 15 is the pull, 7015 is a pull with a plate with a pull, and that 15 pull, as I scroll through the link to the product catalog, because I don't remember its dimensional properties, I want to compare my dimensions to what they say. It ought to be 6-inch center to center. Indeed. It is a 3/4 inch diameter, so it should be 6 3/4 overall length. Indeed. It has a projection of 2 1/4, and therefore a clearance of 1.5 inches. So 2 1/4, then to 1.5 inches on the inside. That all appears to be accurate. This is stainless steel. This is a solid bar of stainless that's been bent, that's been machined, that's been drilled and tapped to take the fastening hardware. This is heavy. Each handle weighs about 2.1 pounds, or at least it does with all of its related products. You're going to get a couple of 1/4 by probably 2 1/4 inch flathead machine screws with countersunk or finish washers. That's going to go through the door, through these holes, and that's where your handle is going to sit, obviously. Okay, those screws will run through the door. And when you install these, generally the proper installation is going to see them with a hole in the push plate, and then that countersunk washer, that finish washer, will actually be exposed on the push side of the door. I've seen pull plates installed, and I don't see evidence of the screw head, so the client's either not installed them and is relying on these screws to hold it all in place, which is probably not a great idea. Or what they've done is, before they put the plate on, they have literally drilled and then countersunk a hole in their wood door. Hopefully it's a wood door if you're going to do that at all. And that flathead screw is going to sit there. Or you could, I suppose, get fancy and with a Forstner bit drill the outside diameter of this finish washer, the depth of the height of the washer, and then countersink it that way. None of that's recommended, but you rarely see it installed properly with the screw going through the push plates with the countersunk washer being evidenced there. Okay, you can, of course, get a CFK 70 with, lots of pull sizes. When you're doing a cylinder hole, I don't think you're going to want to go too much bigger than an 8-inch pull, and even at that point, it would be 1 inch taller. You're probably going to be too close. They might reposition that, but nonetheless, that's what it is. One thing I don't like, and is bad practice, is to put the screws on the face of the plate, because the package service company is going to drop that box, is then going to dent the face of the plate. That should be packaged separately. Luckily, there's no damage. It's not just Don Joe. Almost all manufacturers do it that way. Of course, it's going to be available in all of the common finishes: your brass, your bronze, your chrome, aluminum. There's a link to a document called Template that we can review, and that will show you all of the dimensional properties of the plate. Covers everything beyond what we've talked about, tells you the different finishes it's available in. 605 polished brass, 606 satin brass. Those would be in brass-based material. 612 satin bronze, 613 oil rub bronze. That ought to be on a bronze-based material. 628 would be satin aluminum. 629 polished stainless, and then 630, the one we have here, satin stainless. There's then another link called Cut Sheet that we can review. Not really anything of any value there. It's just almost a blank page giving you some basic dimensional properties. This plate specifically is a Type 1 mount. And that mounting option that you see there, this client ordered it with a Type 1, and that is your Type 1. And when you take a look at the different mount types, you basically have poles that are single mounted or poles that are mounted back to back. In a single mount, you have either a Type 1 or a through bolt with a decorative disc, like would be a Type 4. You can do that on an 1 3/4 thick door as well. It's a decorative cover. You can do a concealed surface mount, which would be Type 2. I don't recommend that at all. Not whatsoever. I think that knife thread is going to eventually fail in a door, certainly one that's not been properly reinforced. You can do the Type 6, which is a surface concealed for a metal door when you're drilling and tapping. If you're properly reinforced, I wouldn't see any trouble with that. Then you do your back-to-back, your Type 3 or your Type 5. Type 3 is not to scale, but that would be for your typical 1 3/4 thick door. Very common. If you're doing a glass door, you'd want a Type 5. They're also showing your offset poles in a back-to-back mount will run a 3/8 24 thread, a substantially larger bolt than the 1/4 20 that's included. And then they have the Type 7, which is really a great way to go because now you're concealing the mounting altogether. You're not going to see the heads of these screws on the opposite side, and it's literally going to be a welded lug to the push plate that you'll then run that cone head bolt through, and then via a set screw tighten the what would be the pull handle side. You'd kind of want that to be on the interior, and it would be if it's a bathroom. Those generally swing in. Okay. The extended description information down below, we've covered everything that's listed there that I can think of. They can do a 2.5-inch clearance as well, and simply all they're going to do is increase the overall length of the bar before they bend it to give you 2.5, and that's really what's going to be considered handicap compliant. I don't believe that anywhere is it specified that handicap compliance requires a 2.5-inch clearance, but that is what I see across the industry when it comes to handicap compliance, and as a result, it's either a agreed to dimension or it is literally specified there, and I've just never seen it in any code. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Don Jo products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. With this hardware, I'm going to stick those screws down into the pull handle box so that they're not hitting the push plate, or the pull plate in this case. That link below this video to the manufacturer's page will allow you to review all things Don Jo that we sell in a full line catalog sense, but also in the individual subsections of the catalog. And if you know the name Don Jo at all, you do for latch protectors or door reinforcing U-shaped wraparound plates. But it is certainly very well worth a view through the rest of their catalog, because did you know they make pull plates with deadbolt preps? No, not a lot of people do. Door stops, auxiliary hardware, pivots, ladder pulls, hinges. They are a company backed by, they have a relatively petite footprint in the industry. They are an independent company, not under some huge corporate umbrella, manned or staffed, I should say, by a relatively small group of people. The person that answers the phone can generally correct the problem, expedite the order when possible, answer the technical question, route you to someone else. It's great, and it's nice to be able to have access to a company who does things where you can get an answer. Oh, I shipped something wrong. It's an email, and then it's not responded to. 3 days later, the client's still asking where their stuff is. That's not the case with Don Jo at all. And as a result, they deserve, I know that they earned my consideration. Any questions on the CFK7015 and a 630 finish or any other Don Jo products, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.